What is going on, guys? Matty here. Wanted to let you know that I do stream on Twitch. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description. I smell another tier list. What is up, guys? Today we're going through the exotic pulse rifle tier list. Now there's 5 of them. We're gonna be rating them from S tier all the way down to F tier. I know there was a couple stinky ones, and we're going to be going over which ones you should be using, which ones you should absolutely not be using. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you, guys. Let's get into it. First things first, let's start with Graviton Lance. Good old shoot you in the face and turn you into a giant exploding bubble of purple pain. This is a 257 RPM pulse rifle that fires similar to a Scout Pulse hybrid. You aren't going to have that classic 3 or 4 burst shot, but more like a very quick 2-shot burst that'll seem like 1 shot. With its incredible smooth shots and large magazine of 31, this pulse seems fantastic, but let's get more into it. What makes this pulse rifle exotic starts with the intrinsic perk Black Hole. This allows the second shot to literally rip a hole through time and space, allowing you to deal high damage with no distant fall off to that shot. It can really come in handy for those far off shots. This pulse does have a catalyst called Hidden Hand that allows you to increase target acquisition, so keep that in mind as well. Now, the second perk, which makes it truly a fun gun to shoot, would be Cosmology. This is what really makes this gun. When getting a headshot kill on the enemy, it causes them to detonate and spawn void projectiles that track your enemy. Places this can really do great deals of damage in would be game modes such as Control, where they would be all clumped together, or Elim and Trials, but those would be more special situations. When I tested this in PvP, it seemed the initial burst does damage, but the projectiles that track enemies did basically nothing but give the enemy a little bit of a light show. Now, my opinion on the pulse was a tough one. It's fantastic if you can really hit your shots and does well in the long to medium range, but obviously does not do too well on those close 20-meter range distances. Now, for my Valorant players who are watching, this gun is very similar to Guardian. Hit your shots and it's fantastic due to its short burst shot window. If you have trouble hitting those headshots, well, you may get rushed and ultimately become a floating ghost shell. Honestly, I wasn't too impressed with Graviton Lance. The main perk makes it hard to love due to its major lack in explosive damage, or to choose over a really good scout rifle or other pulse rifles, as it gets outgunned a lot. Right now in today's current meta, it feels a little bit off. It can work, but it's strained being anywhere but further back in the map. Now, don't get me wrong, in the right hands anything can be good, but comparing it to other pulse rifles, well, this is just okay at best. Overall, I'm gonna rate Graviton Lance in the D category. Up next, we have the fan favorite Vigilance Wing, also known as Vigi Wing, or hey, just don't peek that gun. This exotic pulse is a 530 RPM machine that will 2-tap you with an unforgiving amount of flinch. This is mainly due to the intrinsic perk Harsh Truths. This allows the weapon to fire a 5-round burst, and when nearby allies are killed, gained health regeneration and increased movement speed. Almost like Celerity. This pulse is truly unique as it feels like it has a slight recoil that can easily be controlled as it rolls out those long bursts. Another massive perk it holds is called Last Stand. This gives you improved weapon performance as well as greatly increasing your recovery when you're the last living member of your fire team. This exotic pulse is not only absolutely disgusting on the battlefield, but when you're the last living member of your despicable good-for-nothing fire team, that's when this gun goes above and beyond. Now, where would this exotic really shine? Well, everywhere. Vigilance Wing does well in mostly long to medium ranges, and I would say can be maneuvered in close range, but honestly, one of the drawbacks is how large this feels in the hands. When wielding this weapon, it seems to take up a lot of room on the screen, which can make it more difficult the closer you get. Now, there is a catalyst once completed does allow you to hold the trigger to allow for full auto, which isn't something you need, but just something that's nice overall to have when you're feeling a bit lazy. Overall, when I used this pulse rifle, I just thought it was insane. 2 bursting guardians across the map, as well as flinching the poor soul that tries to snipe you out into the sky, is just what I look for in a pulse rifle. With a decent magazine size and a great time to kill of 0.83 seconds, Vigilance Wing absolutely demands the respect of its opponents. You will see this gun in the current meta fairly often, and keeping up with other non-exotic pulse rifles that are being used a lot, much like the Darkest Path and Time-Worn Spire. Overall, guys, I really love Vigilance Wing. I think it's a great pulse rifle. It's one of the best exotic pulse rifles that you can use right now. So I'm going to be putting Vigilance Wing in the A category. Outbreak Perfected has a special place in my heart. When it came out with the Forsaken expansion, it came with a special mission called 0 Hour. It's like a mini raid with its fun jumping puzzles and mechanics that rewarded skill and precision and punished small mistakes. Bungie made this exotic fun to obtain, and I hope we see more of this type in the future. Now, Outbreak Perfected is a 450 RPM pulse rifle that is smooth to shoot and has a deadly catch when you get a kill. This has to do with the intrinsic perk, the Corruption Spreads. When getting a precision kill, tiny Siva nanites swarms within a certain distance of the kill spot. Walk into it or near it, and you're going to take some damage. How much damage? Well, not enough to fully kill you, but enough to do some slight damage and delay your health regen for a few seconds. Now, the point of those nanites aren't to kill, but to go hand in hand with the secondary perk, Parasitism. This allows Outbreak to do more damage to enemies based on the number of Siva nanites attached to that enemy. So their main reason for existence isn't really meant to kill someone, but to pretty much annoy and then put them in a really bad situation, as now you have that added damage buff against them. Now, on the battlefield when using this pulse, I noticed that it excels in the medium range exclusively. Long range is okay, and short range may get you rushed and shottied, but when I was approaching my gunfights whenever I was in the medium range, I sensed a bit of advantage. I felt good about being aggressive, yet agile, and taking the gunfights that I had to take. Now, the parts of the gun that make it exotic, such as Parasitism and the Corruption Spreading, is great and does add, but much like Graviton Lance, it's very situational. These perks only really work when you have a team holding hands or close together. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of these opportunities in game modes like Control or even Trials when those pesky teams want to all hide behind the same barrier, waiting for that shadow dive. All in all, this is a really good pulse rifle. When looking at the other exotic pulse rifles, it was hard to place Outbreak. When looking to compare these different exotic pulse rifles, you have to take some things into accountability, much like what are the ranges that it can be effective in, how the exotic perks work, how situational those exotic perks are. So it's tough to place, but I'm going to be placing Outbreak in the B tier. It's not quite Vigilant Wing level, but it's still a great choice for those looking for a great pulse. Now, please don't be upset. This could be A, this could be B. I had a hard time. I'd rather be safe than sorry. We're going to keep it in B. All right, on to the next. Don't get angry. Listen, I have no time to explain why I have no time to explain.
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
No Time to Explain was first shown in Destiny 1's The Taken King in a multi-step exotic quest. Bringing back the nostalgia, Destiny 2 brought it back when Beyond Light came in, showing a few other cool features. Let's get into the perks and what makes this an insane exotic pulse today. It all starts with the intrinsic perk Rewind Again. This allows precision shots and shots against the poor souls that got frozen to return ammo to the magazine. This is where things take a turn to go from great to insane. Now, this perk goes hand in hand with something called Time Slip. Once you get 10 stacks of Rewind Again, which is a lot easier than it sounds, a small portal opens up next to you, shooting bullets from an alternative timeline. The more precision hits you obtain during this time, the longer the portal stays open. Now, I gotta say, this is truly insane. The little portal will literally pre-fire around corners for you and take out enemies frequently. This is not a light perk at all. This little floaty ball will put in work. With the catalyst, that little orb will shoot more frequently, so my recommendation is go get the catalyst immediately if you don't have it. Aside from the major perks that we just went through, it does have full auto trigger system, which is really nice for a pulse like this. Now let's go over how it performs. When using this pulse in Control, Trials, Elims, or even Comp, it just feels incredibly easy to use. It's great from long range to mid range, and dare I say, close range. Due to the not so high zoom when aiming down sights, it allows you to take shots in a range that pulse rifles shouldn't really be able to engage in. Not to mention, if you have that little rewind portal next to you, well, it's going to be easier than a hand cannon to use. All in all, this is easily one of the best pulse rifles out there at the moment. I fear making this part of the video because truthfully, not a lot of people know we're in a pulse rifle meta. And I don't want to see 3 of these on the enemy team when I go into trials myself. But for you guys watching, I truly appreciate you, and well, I want you to have this information. So we're going to be placing No Time to Explain in the S tier category. This is the king of pulse rifles with its ease of use and insane perks. The crown fits perfectly. All right, moving on to the last. Bad Juju. Saved this one for the end as, well, I'm a little upset. Back in Destiny 1, Bad Juju came in as the exciting new exotic. It was known for a high rate of fire and low impact pulse that absolutely wrecked players on the playing field. At the same time, rewarding you with a good amount of super upon killing your enemy. In today's meta, Bad Juju made a comeback in Season of the Chosen. Much like Destiny 1, you obtained it through an exotic quest and really exciting mission in the Tribute Hall. Rest in peace, all my beautiful materials. Anyway, this exotic is a 450 RPM pulse that can be the best in medium range only, as it doesn't have the damage for long distances or the kill time for short distances. Its intrinsic perk String of Curses allows you to refill your magazine on kills and increases your damage for a short duration. It allows the user to gain super energy based on the strength of String of Curses. But there's a problem. To get a higher String of Curses multiplier, you need to take Guardians out fairly fast, as it's only a 3 to 4 second window. And right now, this pulse does not dish out the damage needed to take out multiple Guardians in that time frame. Well, not easily, that is. In a base test of 1 kill, it gives you a hair of super over a regular weapon. In my opinion, making the main and well-known ability of this gun pretty useless unless you're killing a ton of Thrall in PvE. One thing that may remedy this would be the Catalyst, which increases the amount of time in String of Curses, which may help, but it only extends it by 2 seconds. Now, this is fantastic for PvE, but in PvP, it's just not great at all. Compared to the other pulses, Bad Juju only really has 1 perk to its name. It can also fire full auto as well, but that goes hand in hand with String of Curses. Overall, I'm just gonna be honest, guys, I would not use this in PvP ever. I would rather be gunless and use my cold hard fists to take out the enemy team. It's that bad. To make this short and sweet, as it was pretty painful to get the footage for this, I'm gonna rate Bad Juju in the F category. Now, if we're talking PvE, this would be in the B category, as it allows you to gain super energy far, far faster and really excel its exotic perk. What? You're watching until the very end of this video? You absolute maniac. All right, guys, let's switch it up. If you guys made it this far, go ahead and comment down below your favorite cereal, and I'll give you guys $10 this time. I'm lying again. And before we go, we are sponsored by Advanced GG. If you guys do want to support me and the stream, just use code Matty at checkout. 10% off. Helps me, helps my family, helps my dogs and my cats. I don't even have cats or dogs, but I love you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Catch you later.